From Miller Waldrop Studios, this is Campus Live.
What's up, Campus Live fans, and welcome to the official Campus Live sports show out here at GolfSuites. Today, I'm one of your hosts, Lane, like every single show that we have out here at GolfSuites, and today I'm here with Mr. Jet Castro. Jet, how are you feeling on this great Saturday out here in Lubbock?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Ready to talk some basketball. Ready for a big game tonight, and glad to be here with you, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. And first off, we just wanted to thank all of our sponsors who help power this live show every single time that we come out here to GolfSuites with Roof Master and Paint Doctor of Lubbock. Fans, if you have any roof restoration needs or any paint restoration needs, make sure to go out to Roof Master and Paint Doctor of Lubbock to take care of those problems if you have them. And once again, thank you guys for all the support to Campus Live and the Campus Live Sports Show. First off, too, we also want to thank GolfSuites as well. We got $2 pints and $3 mega pints. So if you are at home and you want to come out and watch the game somewhere, make sure to come out to GolfSuites. Join us for the rest of this show and for the Texas Tech and Duke basketball game, and get some great drink deals and watch hopefully the Red Raiders get a win here tonight against the Duke Blue Devils. But first, I think we're going to get into our first segment right here, Jet. We are going to be recapping really this past week of Texas Tech basketball. They played Arkansas in northern Colorado.
Yep.
We saw how the Arkansas game transpired. You know, it was good to see Texas Tech obviously bounce back and a win this week, but they did struggle a little bit, Jet. What were some of your initial thoughts just on this past week and how we played against Arkansas and northern Colorado?
For this past week, the defense was just consistently not there, you know. So the Arkansas game, it looked like we were, you know, at least offensively had control of that game for, you know, a good portion of it. But then they just got tired at the end, and Arkansas, you know, ended up overtaking us there. But and then you saw it in, you know, the Northern Colorado game. The defense just didn't translate with either team. So it's not. And Coach McCassin said it's not a scheme issue. It's more of an effort issue, and so they're hoping to fix that, you know, going to Duke tonight.
Yeah, you know, this is our first live show actually covering basketball for this season. You know, we've been all football every single other time we've been out here at GolfSuites. Our football season, it's not over just yet. You know, we have a huge game that's going to be looming on New Year's Day, but you know, it's time to really start ramped up here for basketball season. We're almost a third of the way through our schedule, believe it or not, so far. We only have 2 non-conference games left before Big 12 play, and this one tonight against Duke could potentially be the biggest non-conference game of all the non-conference games we've had yet.
Yeah, for sure.
But, you know, what I really wanted to discuss from this past week, you know, you spoke on it, the defense.
Yeah.
A lack of effort, and Coach McCassin has really harped on it in his press conferences this week and after the games. We were up on Arkansas early in that game.
Yeah.
We were up at halftime by 6 points, and then we ended up losing 93-86. JT Toppin and Christian Anderson played amazing in that game.
Yep.
They played the whole entire game. They did not come out. JT and Christian combined for 56 points of our 86 points, which is just insane. And, you know, once again, we started off the game good. The effort was there on defense. We were rebounding and stuff. But with how thin our rotations are right now, you could really see that play out later on in the game. And guys like Trevon Brazell, they just showed their size because, you know, unfortunately, without Luke Bangboye, without Mariel Kuntag and Josiah Mosley, we are an undersized team. And it was kind of hard to watch in that second half whenever they seemingly got every offensive rebound. They got basically every shot they wanted inside and really took that game over, Jet.
Yeah, because, I mean, when you score almost 50 points in the first half, you would think that, you know, you're doing something right, but the defense was just not helping the offense at all. And you have some real talent on the offense, which is, you know, I think they're averaging almost 85 a game. So, you just want to see more effort there and maybe a little help from the role players to make sure that those key guys don't have to play the entire game, you know, and then maybe not get so tired and, you know, fatigued there at the end. We'll see if anyone shows up tonight against Duke.
Yeah, you know, this past week, seeing us give up 90 points to Northern Colorado was kind of unfortunate to see. You know, even though Northern Colorado is they're a good mid-major program. They've been to the tournament in March before. They consistently have won their conference over the past few years.
Yeah.
They're a good program, but, you know, Texas Tech is one of the best basketball programs in the country. You do not need to be giving up 90 points at home to a mid-major like that, Jet. And
especially off a tough loss.
100%. You would think after that tough Arkansas loss, we would have came out, and we had Luke Bamboya in that game, even though
with something to prove, you would think,
right.
but
unfortunately, we even though we did win, we won the game. It was really we didn't separate in that game till basically the last 2 minutes of that game, and thankfully LaJuan Watts had the game of his career.
Career high, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Jet, what did you think about LaJuan Watts in this game against Northern Colorado?
I think that's like what every Tech fan has been wanting to see, obviously replacing Darian Williams from last year. And it was great to see 12 for 13, I think 36 points. So maybe we'll get it again tonight against Duke, and that'll be great if that can become a consistent factor in our role.
Yeah, he's going to have to be huge tonight, and he honestly might have to be really huge on the defensive side tonight.
Yeah.
He's going to obviously have to score, but JT and Christian really can handle a lot of that scoring responsibility whenever they're on. LaJuan has got to be a huge defensive factor. He's got to rebound the basketball tonight.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really, really important. But really what we want to see from tonight, you talked about it earlier, Coach O'Cassin wanting that switch to flip. He talked about, LaJuan, he's really been getting on him all year long, especially on the defensive side, for just really thinking too much, not putting in enough effort. He's not the only one. But whenever he played his butt off against Northern Colorado, he said it was easy basketball to him. It wasn't like he was taking crazy shots. He wasn't forcing anything. And his good defense was translating into him scoring 36 points.
Yeah.
He said in his press conference this week, I want everyone to adapt to that mentality because that's what leads to good basketball. When you play good defense, it leads to more offensive possessions, Jet.
Exactly.
And how do you think we can do that tonight against Duke?
You got to get some turnovers to start off. You want to make sure to disrupt them. And we were talking about it on the pod earlier this week. We want to disrupt, early. So maybe press a little bit early. Don't, play so lackadaisical. Put the pressure on Duke and, make them take some tough shots early, That way they're not just having their way. And you could see the offense get a good lead if we do something like that because, they can score at will whenever they get hot. So, I think turnovers are going to be a big thing.
Yeah, I think – really what to build on from this past week, I think there's a few games you can build on. When we played Illinois early on in the season, when we played Purdue, obviously the Purdue one was tough to watch. But really the Illinois and Arkansas game were toss-ups, and they were games that came down to the very end. Arkansas did pull away further than Illinois did. But those are two games I really think you can learn from. Those are the three losses we have are two all-tournament teams. They're going to be really high seeds. Arkansas actually is playing Houston right now. I'm not sure what the score is exactly, but I'm assuming that game is going to be an amazing game tonight. We'll discuss that one later.
Yeah, Arkansas is tough.
Yeah, very good team, and heading into Big 12 play, it's going to be a tall task tonight against Duke.
Yeah.
But if we were to just put a better showing on the floor tonight, I think even if it wasn't in a win, it could help flip this season. Like we saw last year, we lost to UCF at home. And then really ever after that point, it seemed like they were like, okay, this is when we got to turn it on right now. And they did for the rest of the season. Obviously, we saw how far we went, Jet.
Yeah, a lot of Tech fans are kind of waiting for it to click. And maybe tonight will be the night that it clicks. And they get the defense together, and we get a great game between these two teams. Like we did not even a few years ago, but back in 2019 when the national runner-ups, went to Madison Square Garden. This same scenario. And I heard the Duke plays here almost every year. So, Duke's very familiar with Madison Square Garden. So it's going to be tough, like we're saying. It's going to be an uphill battle.
Yeah, we absolutely cannot wait to watch. I think Texas Tech is going to give a good effort tonight, especially a better effort on the defensive end. When your coach is consistently calling you out, like in every single public basically conference he can, eventually it's going to click. And I think tonight you are going to see a better effort, but it really should be exciting to see, Jed. And you got anything more from this past week on Arkansas and Northern Colorado?
No, I don't.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for watching and coming out and supporting us. This is just part one of our live show here today. Make sure to come out to GolfSuites. There's some great drink deals. There's obviously their amazing golf bays out here, great food. Come out and join us. And then also right after our show with the Texas Tech and Duke basketball game will be right on here on all the TV screens around us. And there's also some NFL games on, obviously the college football playoff as well. So just stay tuned, and we'll be right back after this short break. WRECKEM.
Thanks, guys.
From Miller Waldrop Studios, this is Campus Live.
What's up, Campus Live fans, and welcome back to the Campus Live sports show out here at GolfSuites. Once again, we just want to thank everyone who came out to support us, everyone that's going to come out and watch the Texas Tech and Duke basketball game, and of course all of our sponsors, especially Roof Master and Paint Doctor, who help power the live Campus Live sports show, and of course GolfSuites for letting us come out here and doing our live sports show. And once again, fans, if you're at home and you want to come watch a game and go out and get some great drink deals, come out to GolfSuites. They have great food. Of course, they have the amazing golf bays out here on the driving range, and we'll also have a great basketball game on with Texas Tech and Duke. But yeah, Jed, I think we're about to get started into this part two.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah. In this segment, we're going to be talking all things Texas Tech. And really this season, we've touched on it earlier. We're 8-3. We're number 19 in the country right now. We have 3 really good losses.
Yeah.
It's never really good thing to say, of a good loss.
But it's very true. It's very true.
But it is true. We lost to Illinois, Purdue, and Arkansas. 3 teams that are going to be really high. 3 teams, honestly, that can make runs to the Final Four. That's how talented those teams are.
And they were all in tough environments, dude. Like, they all, the crowds were against us, I feel like, in all 3 of them.
We had to go to Illinois to play that game. The Purdue one was a neutral site, but
they had more fans over there than we did, for sure.
It basically was an away game.
In that
honestly, the Arkansas game kind of was too.
Yeah, that was surprising.
Yeah, it was crazy. I expected more Tech fans to be at the American Airlines Center, but
so we got some experience in some tough environments, for sure.
Yeah, so it should be really interesting to see how Madison Square Garden is tonight, but really, this Tech team at the beginning of the year, really high expectations, top 10 in the country with Christian Anderson and JT Toppin returning. We really knew that they were going to be able to handle the responsibilities a lot of this roster, but we didn't really know what the issues were going to be. We thought, maybe Christian, without Elijah Hawkins being able to distribute the ball, how was he going to handle being the main ball handler for this offense? But really, that hasn't been too much of an issue so far this year.
No, I don't think so.
Our offense is ranked in the top 20 so far in efficiency, and really, we've already touched on it a lot. It's really been our health and our defense, Jet. And Grant McCaslin every single year has a good defense, and especially last year, we saw at the beginning of the year last year they struggled a lot, but then of course after that UCF loss we talked about earlier, they really turned it on for the rest of the year, Jet. But this is something that's really got to improve, because really the only game that the offense hasn't performed well was that Purdue game where we just got blown off the floor.
We stopped scoring for I think 5 minutes or something.
And we couldn't stop that.
Yeah.
So it wasn't going to stop that avalanche that was coming from Purdue. But hey, they're one of the best teams in the country. They actually have a big game against Auburn tonight.
Yeah.
But on Ken Palm, one of the best really sites to get basketball statistics from, especially for college basketball. It's kind of like the PFF grading for college basketball, similarly to football.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're 16th in offensive efficiency, but 64th right now in the whole entire country in defensive efficiency.
Yeah.
Coach McCaslin does not like to see that, Jet, and obviously you could tell by the way that he's been talking really this whole entire year.
Yeah, and he's saying he's going to do whatever it takes, go into the bench and change up the lineup, just to see who's going to put that effort in on defense. So you can tell he's very upset. But, I mean, Tech fans are kind of, frustrated because we're just not used to this kind of defensive output from a Texas Tech basketball team just in the past 7-8 years, now. Like, we're just so used to being a defensive-focused team. So, yeah, this is kind of new for us to be sitting here wondering when our defense is going to show up, especially when you have 2 NBA-level offensive players on the other on your side, just producing at a crazy level. You want some sort of defense to show up.
Yeah, because not many teams can say that. Not many teams can say, hey, we have 2 potential lottery picks that are 2 of the best offensive players in the country. Man, if you could just get a little bit of defense, we could win every single game that's on our schedule. Because that's how talented we are on offense. And, you saw Lawan Watts really come on. He's really come on, the past few games. He did struggle a little bit versus Arkansas, but that game was kind of an outlier, really, in his past 2 weeks, I would say, performing on the court. But I think really a big issue that has been for this season is all the injuries. Even Lawan, he didn't even play the first 2 games of the year because of an injury. JT didn't even play the first game of the year. It seems like we've just been hit by the injury bug. And, we kind of were last year, too. Chance McMillan got hurt.
Yep.
We saw Darian Williams battling injuries.
Yep.
And, hopefully that doesn't become a common theme, every single year. It just kind of, like Tariq Owens, when we went to the national championship, he got hurt. You hope that this doesn't continue to be a theme because really this team is so talented. And Luke Bangboye, he's really been on and off the floor all year. Josiah Mosley hasn't played at all. Muriel Akuntak, he has been hurt as well. He injured his knee a few games ago. And I think that might be a perfect segue kind of into really our injury report, Jed.
Yeah.
And fans, this is our injury report segment presented by the Exceptional Community Hospital here in Lubbock. Fans, it's time for this week's injury report presented by Exceptional Community Hospital. Before we hop into the injury report, we want to take a moment to recognize Exceptional Community Hospital as a proud sponsor of Campus Live. Be sure to visit their 24/7 state-of-the-art hospital and ER located at 6401 Spur 327 in Lubbock. They accept all insurances and have short ER wait times. And Exceptional Community Hospital is once again a proud sponsor to support this week's injury report on Campus Live. Jet, we just talked about it. Luke Bamboye, he is such a huge piece. He was the best graded defensive center in the whole entire country last year. Missing him, how much of a piece has that been, missing him from this lineup?
Yeah, going into the season, a lot of people thought he was going to be the best shot blocker in the Big 12, maybe, possibly in the country, that he was just going to be another key piece for us, with the other pieces that we have. And, just not being able to kind of integrate him with the lineup has been tough. And then it really takes away from our size. We were hoping to have JT in a less physical role, I'd say, rather, move him over. And now it's kind of sizing him back up with a lot of the big guys over there. And it definitely takes away from our size.
Yeah, another big guy too, we touched on him a second ago, is Muriel Akuntak. In the first few games of the season, he actually played pretty well, especially on the offensive side. Having that boost where it's not just JT having to guard the every center. He's not having to live in the paint the whole game, even though he's so good at doing that. Last year, Federico coming in and just spelling him for a few minutes was so crucial.
He was huge.
He was huge later on in the season, and especially against Arkansas in that game. He got like 7 offensive rebounds.
He willed us back into that game.
He did, and having a guy like that can just help out JT, just get a rebound here and there where JT's not having to do everything. That's what's so important. That's why, tonight could be potentially a really tough matchup for Texas Tech because it sounds like Luke and Muriel are both going to be out once again. Maybe you see Latrell Hoover, a true freshman who's a big guy. He's about 6'11". Maybe you see him
step up
his first minutes of the season. Like you said, Coach Ricasson talked about, we've got to get more guys on the court. So should be really interesting to see, but Josiah Mosley is another guy I want to touch on. He really hasn't been talked about by many people this year. He hasn't even played this whole year, and he's a 6'8" guy. So really talented. He was a 4-star coming out of the DFW area, went to Villanova, but he hasn't been able to get on the court this year, Jed. And,
maybe try him out now.
Hopefully we can get him healthy within the next few weeks or so because we really need these guys to come back, Jed.
Yeah, we really do. And just to take some of the pressure off of the start or whoever is the starters right now, because I don't know if that lineup has been the same more than a couple times in a row. We'd like to see a more consistent starting lineup out of this team for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of a perfect way to segue into how we can potentially win this game, Jed. It's going to be a really uphill battle. It's going to be a difficult. Everyone knows who Duke is. They're the New York Yankees of college basketball. They're the everyone knows what Duke basketball is. Every single year they got 5 stars littered on their roster, and this year they have potentially the #1 overall pick in Cameron Boozer. So, but first, fans, this is our Paving the Way to Victory segment. Fans, JSI Services is a proud sponsor of Campus Live. Be sure to visit their website at jsiservicesloc.com to learn about their asphalt and paving services, earth and dirt works, concrete and gutter paving, and crack, fill, and seal and coating services. And thank you once again to JSI Services for their proud support of Campus Live and the Campus Live Sports Show. Jet, first, we have got to be able to shoot very well from the three-point line tonight, Jet.
Got to get it to fall. And like I was saying earlier, we got to shoot the 3, and then we got to force some turnovers, because the turnovers will lead to easy layups, easy dunks, and those transition points are just going to be key to trying to win this game against a very talented team. It's not going to be a rock fight.
No, and really, with the one game we talked about earlier, whenever we didn't shoot well, Purdue blew us off the court.
Yeah.
So that was a game where we lost 30 points at that point because I think we made like 4 threes. We were like 4 of 25 or something like that.
Awful.
So Texas Tech really needs to be able. We need to hit about 15 threes tonight.
Yeah.
We need to have that in our bag. And even if we make that many threes tonight, I'm not even sure if that would even put us over the top.
Yeah.
So that's how important it is that really we show up and play our best game because secondly, Duke is not the biggest transition team offensively.
Yeah.
Really opposite of Arkansas. You touched on it earlier, speeding them up on the defensive end. We've touched on it so much already in the show, forcing them into turnovers.
Yeah.
How can that lead to a lot more points for us tonight, Jet?
Well, once you start turning the ball over, then you're going to get those quick transition points. Then their leading scorer, Boozer, might start taking some high-pressure shots and maybe some uncanny shots that he doesn't normally take. So I think he leads them in all 4 categories. So I feel like if we could just, slow him down and force, role players of Duke to kind of step up. And then if they beat you that way, then, you just got to accept that. But I think if you can put the pressure on him with turnovers and then really isolate Boozer, you'll have a chance in this game.
Yeah, I will say, as great as a player as Cameron Boozer is, he's not the most agile guy.
Yeah.
He's a great rebounder, but he's not the quickest, twitchiest guy. He doesn't jump the highest. I actually think that matched up tonight against JT, I really wish that we did have like a Luke Van Boye tonight because I think he would have the ability to potentially shut down Cameron Cameron would be able to still get some good rebounds on Luke. He's a built guy.
Yeah.
He is, and he's a phenomenal
puts himself
player.
in the right spot.
Yeah, but on the defensive end, I would really love to see JT get into him tonight because I don't think that as of right now, Cameron doesn't have the biggest offensive bag. He's a talented guy, no question about it. One of the best players in the country, but once again, he's not the most athletic guy. I think JT can match up with him using his athleticism and potentially force him into some of those bad shots that you talked about. And I think that kind of really ties into my next point is preventing those offensive rebounds. They have a great center. They have Cameron Boozer, obviously.
He's 6'11", right? I think.
Yeah.
The center.
I think we beat Illinois and Arkansas, honestly, if we rebound better.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, with our size, with our injuries right now, it's going to be extremely tough to do versus one of the best rebounding teams in the country for Duke. But I think, once again, Grant just wants to see that effort there.
Yeah.
Even if they barely out-rebound us, I think that's a win in our book, Jet.
Yeah, there was points in those losses where we needed to stop late, and we got the stop, and we didn't get the rebound, know? And so it's just things like that can really change your record from 8-3 to 10-1 or something like that. And that comes down to effort because you can defend the whole time, but if you're not putting in the effort for the rebound, then it's just not going to go your way.
Yeah, and that'll wrap things up for segment number 2. Fans, once again, come out to GolfSuites. Come join us for our amazing live show we have. Texas Tech once again playing Duke tonight in basketball. And we just want to thank once again all of our sponsors for helping us on the Campus Live Sports Show. And we'll be right back after another short break. And stay tuned for part 3. WRECKEM.
From Miller Waldrop Studios, this is Campus Live.
What's up, Campus Live fans, and welcome back to the Campus Live Sports Show out here at Golf Suites. Once again, we just want to say thank you for all the support, everyone who's watching online and everyone who came out to support our live show out here at the amazing Golf Suites. Once again, fans, if you want the best sports viewing experience, if you want to come out, watch Texas Tech versus Duke, watch some of the college football playoff games, there's some NFL games on as well. Make sure to come out to Golf Suites. They have some great drink deals. They have obviously their amazing golf at the range out here, and they have some great food. So make sure to come out to Golf Suites. And also, we wanted to thank our sponsors with JSI Services, Roof Master, and Paint Doctor as well. And just thank you guys so much for all the support that you give Campus Live and the Campus Live Sports Show. But in this segment, we're going to be talking all things Duke Jet. You could talk really all night long about Duke and how talented they are. They're the number 3 team in the country, Jet. 11-0 with wins already over Texas, Kansas, Arkansas, Florida, and they went to Michigan State and won. Top 5 in KenPom right now in offensive rate and defensive rate, and their defense is actually rated higher than their offense, believe it or not. So they've kind of really been a defensive anchoring team this year. Cameron Boozer, as good as he is on the offensive end, he's a great defensive player too. And he's averaged at 23 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists. Isaiah Evans is one of the best shooters in the country as well, alongside Caleb Foster. Caleb Foster's a great player. And they have their monster center inside with Patrick Ngongba, one of the best shot blockers in the country. He's a really tall guy. Jet, what are some of your initial thoughts on Duke and just how good this team is this year?
Well, not a bad start, for the year for Duke. They have an argument to be number 1 for sure in the nation if Arizona wasn't doing what they were doing right now. And like you said, Boozer is just an absolute beast out there. He leads them in points, rebounds, assists, and steals, I'm pretty sure. He's gonna be pretty lethal tonight. And they just have so much size. I think they have like 3 players that are like 6'9" or taller, in their starting rotation. So they're just so long and they can defend. But against a good offense tonight, so we're gonna, that defense is gonna be put to the test because Tech can play some offense if they can do anything.
Absolutely. We touched on it earlier. Duke is one of the most storied programs that, in all of sports. Everyone knows the Duke logo, Duke basketball. And John Shire, after taking over for Coach K, I think really last year's team, they thought that was their most talented team with Cooper Flagg and all those guys. But, man, this year with Cameron Boozer and how deep this team is, they might be even better than last year's team. And really it's because of how dominant they've been on the defensive end this year. Like I said, 3rd in the whole entire country right now in defensive efficiency. And they've already played all those great teams that I touched on earlier. They played Texas, Kansas, Michigan State, beat all those teams. There was a few others I'm forgetting to mention right now, but also the 11th best offense in the country as well, according to KenPom. So this is going to be a very tough battle today, Jet. And you touched on it and how their size. They actually average as a team. They're 6'7", on the contrary to us. I mean, I think we probably average around 6'3", 6'4".
Significantly less.
Especially with all of our injuries right now. So it's really significantly less than what we possess as a team. So it's going to be really tough tonight. It's going to be tough getting rebounds, playing defense. But I think we are going to be up to the task, and I think we're going to give a great effort on the defensive end. But Duke, Jet, we know how great they are. We've talked on it about them all day long. Who is a player for Duke that maybe is an under-the-radar guy that Texas Tech fans are going to watch tonight and be like, wow, he's a great player for them?
I think, like you were mentioning earlier, Caleb Foster is a great player, and if he can get going tonight and take some of the load off of Boozer and some of those main guys, that's going to be a problem. And it's going to be another one of those nights for Tech where, a rotation player is kind of just like destroying you, they're having their career high against you, unfortunately. So hopefully that doesn't happen tonight, but it could very well be the case.
Yeah, because they go deep. Duke's always a deep team. I mean, they get every 5-star, it seems like, in the country every single year.
Their bench players could go start
100%.
elsewhere.
But their bench players, a lot of them could probably be our center. I mean, right? Their backup center could probably start here. So we know, everyone knows how talented Duke is, but really, their bread and butter this year, I touched on it earlier, is their defense and also their rebounding ability. They average right now 40 rebounds a game, 6th in the country. Texas Tech has struggled with rebounding the basketball, except for JT. JT, he's one of the best rebounding bigs in the whole entire country. We know how many double-doubles he gets. And they are extremely efficient on the offensive end. They average per 100 possessions 108.4 points per game. It's basically top 10 in the country.
Yeah.
Texas Tech, our defensive rate, obviously, hasn't been the best this year. So
Yep.
I think, like we touched on earlier, for Texas Tech tonight, we've got to be able to make them uncomfortable.
Yep.
I really like your idea, Jet, of forcing them in a press early on in this game.
Yeah.
Because if we can get them thrown off of their offensive rhythm and potentially get us some more offensive possessions, maybe go up by 10 points,
Yep.
then Duke will start to sweat a little bit.
Play a little different,
With how talented we are on offense, that's when I think we can potentially,
Yeah.
maybe we can force an upset in this matchup. It's going to be a really tough matchup, but Jet, do you have any last thoughts on Duke and just how good this team is this year?
We've faced them twice in recent memory, and they were both great games. So I'm excited to see this third one, and the coaching matchup's pretty elite too. So we can't forget that. And regardless of who's on the court, it's going to be some good basketball played out there. And I think Coach McCaslin's gonna have a good scheme ready for them. But John Shire is one of the best in the business. So it's gonna be some good basketball out there.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, fans. Once again, for everyone who's coming out, we've been thanking y'all, all throughout this show. And once again, we just want to thank you again. And thank you for supporting us. And we actually have one more segment out here at GolfSuites. Fans, once again, if you want to come out and watch the Texas Tech Duke game, that the college football playoff is on right now as well, make sure to come out. There's great drink deals. And come support our last segment of the show and come watch some Texas Tech basketball. And our next segment, we will be giving our predictions for this game and talk about some other games going on around the country. But stay tuned after this quick break for the last part of the Campus Live Sports Show. WRECKEM. Campus Live fans, and welcome back to the last segment of the Campus Live Sports Show out here at GolfSuites. Jed, it's been a great show. We've been talking all about Texas Tech, all about Duke, about this amazing matchup that's actually going to tip off here in about 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Make sure to come out, fans. Once again, if you're just sitting at home, you want to go out and watch this great basketball game that's about to take place. Maybe some of the playoff games. There's some NFL games on as well. Come out to GolfSuites. They got some great drink deals. Obviously have some amazing golf. They have great food.
Pool.
Guys, make sure to come out to GolfSuites and come watch hopefully a great basketball game tonight. And once again, we want to thank our sponsors for powering the Campus Live Sports Show with Roof Master, Paint Doctor, JSI Services, and the Exceptional Community Hospital out here in Lubbock. Jed, this is the fun segment. We get to talk about some games that have been going on all day. We get to predict our game. We touched on it on the podcast earlier this week with Houston and Arkansas. We were really excited to see how this game was going to play out because Houston's been the class of the Big 12, basically the past 3 or 4 years, ever since they've joined the Big 12.
Yeah.
Versus a really talented Arkansas team who we lost to this past weekend. Looks like Houston's really gotten the better of them today. It looks like the score is about 92 to 80 as we look at it right now. Houston, it just seems they're just a powerhouse every single year under Kelvin Sampson.
Yeah.
But, it looks like Arkansas has put up a great fight tonight, Jet.
Yeah, that offensive Arkansas is still there. I think they might just have the same difficulty, maybe stopping some good offense. But Houston's no joke. So I'm sure that was a great one, competitive, 2 great coaches and everything. But Houston's running away with that one.
Yeah, and I think we play Houston twice actually next month. And about really within the next month, so it's gonna be tough. We play Duke tonight. The Big 12 is just so tough. You look at the standings right now in the Big 12. It seems like everyone literally has one loss right now. Even teams. We start off with Oklahoma State. They were terrible last year.
Yeah.
They're like 11-1 right now. So. Man, it's going to be a tough year, but it'll make us better in the long run for hopefully a tournament run later on in the year. Continually playing this is the best basketball conference in the country, Jet. And I'm glad to see, even though we lost to Arkansas, I'm glad to see Houston, putting on for the Big 12 a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Keeping because once we get a conference, we want all of those teams to be do well, just for the sake of the resume. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then another game, we touched on earlier this week was Auburn and Purdue. Coach Pearl, they lost him before this season started. It maybe has affected them some. They don't have really the past few years. They had Broom, who was one of the best players in the country, one of the best bigs in the country. They had Chadwell playing center for them as well. They don't have those guys this year. They have some really good guards, but they don't have that size that they're used to.
Yeah, to play their brand of basketball, really.
Right, and you've seen that played out today. Purdue really is putting it on them, and we touched on it earlier this week. We think, Auburn's guards, they can hang with anyone. They might have the best 3-4 guard, combo in the whole entire country. And unfortunately, Kevin Overton's on that squad. I wish he was still with us, but he's really played well for Auburn this year. But Trey Kaufman-Renn for Purdue, he's an amazing player. He gave us the work whenever we played against him in the Bahamas. And also their other center that transferred in from South Dakota State. He was the Horizon Player of the Year before he transferred in to Purdue. He absolutely dominated us as well. Jet, what are some of your thoughts on this matchup? It looks like Purdue's kind of running away with this one, Jet.
Yeah, I think Auburn's still struggling to kind of find their identity. Obviously they're still doing well. They're ranked 21, so it's not, like dire straits for Auburn by any means necessary. And then also Purdue's just really, really good. I remember watching that game, I felt like they turned into like the KD Warriors. They were just like shooting lights out. They could not miss. Tough shots, too. Like they weren't just like wide open. They were tough shots, deep shots. And Purdue is just very talented. So it's not too surprising to see them up big on a ranked team like this.
And not only do they have some of the best bigs in the country, they might have the 2 best guards with Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer, who both came back for their senior years, while also having one of the best small forwards in the country. Who, once again, whenever everything was falling for Purdue when we saw them, but. We did see Iowa State, kind of
knock them off
about a week and a half ago. So once the Big 12, it's just
it makes no sense. Yeah,
we're just so good in basketball every single year, and even though we did lose to Purdue, if we end up beating Iowa State later on this year, maybe it kind of crosses out that loss that we had earlier.
And then I can almost like guarantee there's going to be a scenario where Iowa State loses to like a worse Big 12 team at some point, and so it's just there's so many good teams.
Yeah. But, that will move us into our game. We can, give predictions for this one. For Texas Tech, I think you do see a great effort today. Starting off, I think you're going to see maybe the most intensity you've seen all year long. I think you saw it in that Arkansas game. I thought we came out great in that game. And we were winning by 6 at halftime. But there was still the confusion, kind of the missed assignments on the defensive end.
Yeah.
After giving up 90 points to Northern Colorado Jet, you would think Grant McCaslin and this bunch would come out with their best defensive performance all year. I don't care that they're playing Duke.
Yeah.
They need to absolutely play some good defense today. I don't even care if they lose.
Yeah.
Just they need to show that effort. They need to show that they have the ability to do that and stop one of the best teams in the country. It's going to be really tough. I think Christian and JT, they keep us in it. I think they do keep us in it offensively. Yeah. I think Lawan, he scores some. Donovan Atwell's one of the best three-point shooters in the country. I think we stay in it. But just with our depth right now and our injuries, the way that Duke plays defense, with how good they are on the offensive end as well, I think Duke just has a little bit too much depth and size for a wounded Texas Tech team right now. Our basically our rotation is 6 guys right now.
Yeah.
So seeing that, I do think it is close though for the majority of the game, and then you kind of similarly to Arkansas pulls away in the end. I think Duke pulls away and wins 88-77, unfortunately, over Texas Tech today, Jet.
Yeah, I can definitely see why you say that, and I would hope that Tech had like a humbling week of practice, or one of those weeks where it was just like, we really got to look in the mirror and figure this out, because giving up 90 to Northern Colorado was just not okay, and not what Tech basketball is. I think if we can just be present on defense, that we have a good shot in this game, not giving up easy layups and easy baskets like that. That's just going to make it more difficult against an already talented squad. But I think if our offense can get hot, Lawan stays in that same groove that he had going. We give Anderson and JT maybe a few minutes on the bench, not play the entire game. A good effort from a couple role players. Make sure the size isn't too much of a difference. A lot of things we got to do in this game, but I think that we pull it out. 79-74 with the big upset for Tech, and really turn this season around. So
it would change this whole season.
Yeah,
I think it would be similarly to how the Houston
game was last year.
We went on the road. No one expected us to win. We went in there.
Lost JT, lost the head coach.
All odds were against us, and the toughest team won. Go be the toughest team tonight, and because
face a little adversity.
I don't want to pick Duke to win this game. I'm just what we've seen so far this year. It's the most likely scenario, but I would absolutely love to see us go out there tonight, play with our best performance all year long. Yeah. Just show up.
Yeah, yeah, seriously. Be present.
Yeah, and play your best defensive performance. But you got any last thoughts on this basketball game tonight, Jet?
Go Red Raiders.
Go Red Raiders. And that will wrap things up here for our Campus Live pregame show, live from GolfSuites. Once again, we want to thank all of our sponsors, from GolfSuites to Roofmaster, Paint Doctor, JSI Services, and the Exceptional Community Hospital here in Lubbock, as well as all of our fans who came out to support us. You can't see really, but there are a good amount of fans that came out to support us behind the camera. And fans, once again, make sure to come out to GolfSuites and join us for this tip-off here soon. Yeah, come hang out. Come get some great drinks, some great food, and come play some golf. And they have, it's a great atmosphere.
Come talk some shop with the boys too,
Come talk some ball. Come watch some great games on the TV. And, once again, fans, as always, Campus Live is your one-stop news source for all things Texas Tech and Lubbock, and we'll see you next time. WRECKEM.
WRECKEM.